You are listening to a cassette recording of a channeling session from the Raw Contact, a series of 106 sessions that were conducted between 1981 and 1984, using a form of tuned trance telepathy. Throughout these sessions, a group of entities identified as Ra shared information regarding the Law of One, spiritual evolution, and a variety of esoteric topics through a series of questions and answers. The full-text transcript of these recorded sessions can be read for free at lnlresearch.org, where you can also learn more about this audio and its origins. This recording is intended for personal study and is not available for commercial use. Please contact LNL Research if you wish to use this audio in any other way.
2881 Raw 11, January 2881 Raw.
Most important of the entities are the questioner and the vibratory sound complex, Jim. The two entities additional aid the instruments comfort by energizing the instrument with their abilities to share the physical energy complex, which is a portion of your love vibration.
You said yesterday that Baldeck was destroyed due to warfare. If Baldeck hadn't destroyed itself due to warfare, would it have become a planet that evolved with self-service, and would the entities have increased in density, gone on to say the fourth, fifth density in the negative sense or the sense of self-service?
I am Ra, the planetary social memory complex. Baldeck had in common with your own sphere the situation of a mixture of energy direction. Thus, it, though unknown, would most probably have been a mixed harvest, a few moving to fourth density, a few moving toward fourth density in service to self. The great majority repeating third density. This is approximate due to the fact that parallel possibility, probability, vortices cease when action occurs and new probability, possibility, vortices are begun.
Is there a planet behind our sun opposite to us in orbit that we do not know about?
I am Ra. There is a sphere in the area opposite your sun of a very, very cold nature, but large enough to skew certain statistical figures. This sphere should not properly be called a planet, as it is locked in first density.
You said that entities from Malbec might go to, some may go to fourth density negative. Are there people who go out of our present third density to places in the universe and serve, which are fourth density self-service or negative type of planets?
I am Ra. Your question is unclear. Please restate.
As our cycle ends and graduation occurs, is it possible for anyone to go from this third density to a fourth density planet that is a self-service type or negative type?
I am Ra. We grasp now the specificity of your query. In this harvest, the probability, possibility, vortex indicates an harvest, though small, of this type. That is correct.
Can you tell us what happened to Adolf?
I am Ra. The mind, body, spirit complex known Adolf is at this time in an healing process in the middle astral planes of your spherical force field. This entity was greatly confused, and although aware of the circumstance of change in a vibratory level associated with the cessation of the chemical body complex, nevertheless needed a great deal of care.
Is there anyone in our history that is commonly known who went to a fourth density self-service or negative type planet, or who will go there?
I am Ra. The number of entities thus harvested is small. However, a few have penetrated the 8th level, which is only available from the opening up of the 7th through the 6th. Penetration into the 8th, or intelligent infinity level, allows a mind-body-spirit complex to be harvested if it wishes at any time-space during the cycle.
Are any of these people known in the history of our planet by name?
I am Ra. We will mention a few. The one known as Taras Bulba, the one known as Genghis Khan, the one known as Rasputin.
How did they accomplish this? What was necessary for them to accomplish this?
All of the aforementioned entities were aware through memory of Atlantean understandings having to do with the use of the various centers of mind, body, spirit, complex energy, influx, in attaining the gateway to intelligent infinity.
Did this enable them to do what we refer to as magic? Do paranormal things while they were incarnate here?
I am Ra. This is correct. The first two entities mentioned made little use of these abilities consciously. However, they were bent single-mindedly upon service to self, sparing no efforts in personal discipline to double, redouble, and so empower this gateway. The third was a conscious adept and also spared no effort in the pursuit of service to self.
Where are these three entities now?
I am Ra. These entities are in the dimension known to you as a fourth. Therefore, the space-time continua are not compatible. An approximation of the space-time locus of each would net no actual understanding. Each chose a fourth density planet which was dedicated to the pursuit of the understanding of the law of one through service to self. One in what you know as the Orion group. One in what you know as Cassiopeia. One in what you know as Southern Cross. However, these loci are not satisfactory. We do not have vocabulary for the geometric calculations necessary for transfer of this understanding to you.
Who went to the Orion group?
I am Ra, the one known as Genghis Khan.
What does he presently do there? What is it? What is his job or occupation? What does he do?
I am Ra. This entity serves the Creator in its own way.
Is it impossible for you to tell us precisely how he does this service?
I am Ra. It is possible for us to speak to this query. However, we use any chance we may have to reiterate the basic understanding, learning that all beings serve the Creator. The one you speak of as Genghis Khan at present is incarnate in a physical light body which has the work of disseminating material of thought control to those who are what you may call crusaders. He is, as you would term this entity, a shipping clerk.
What do the Crusaders do?
I am Ra. The Crusaders move in their chariots to conquer planetary mind, body, spirit, social complexes before they reach the stage of achieving social memory.
At what stage does a planet achieve social memory?
I am Ra. A mind, body, spirit, social complex becomes a social memory complex when its entire group of entities are of one orientation or seeking. The group memory lost to the individuals in the roots of the tree of mind then become known to the social complex, thus creating a social memory complex. The advantages of this complex are the relative lack of distortion in understanding the social beingness and the relative lack of distortion in pursuing the direction of seeking, for all understanding distortions are available to the entities of the society.
And we have crusaders from Orion coming to this planet for mind control purposes. How do they do this?
As all, they follow the law of one, observing free will. Contact is made with those who call. Those then upon the planetary sphere act much as do you to disseminate the attitudes and philosophy of their particular understanding of the law of one, which is a service to self. These become the elite. Through these, the attempt begins to create a condition whereby the remainder of the planetary entities are enslaved by their own free will.
How can you name any of the recipients of the Crusaders? That is, any names that may be known on the planet today?
I am Ra. I am desirous of being in non-violation of the free will distortion, to name those involved in the future of your space-time is to infringe. Thus, we withhold this information. We request your contemplation of the fruits of the actions of those entities whom you may observe enjoying the distortion towards power. In this way, you may discern for yourself this information. We shall not interfere with the, shall we say, planetary game. It is not central to the harvest.
How did the Crusaders pass on their concepts to the incarnate individuals on Earth?
I am Ra. There are two main ways, just as there are two main ways of, shall we say, polarizing towards service to others. There are those mind, body, spirit complexes upon your plane who do exercises and perform disciplines in order to seek contact with sources of information and power, leading to the opening of the gate to intelligent infinity. There are others whose vibratory complex is such that this gateway is opened and contact with total service to self, with its primal distortion of manipulation of others is then afforded with little or no difficulty, no training, and no control.
What type of information is passed on from the Crusaders to these people?
I am Ra. The Orion group passes on information concerning the law of one with the orientation of service to self. The information can become technical just as some in the Confederation, in attempts to aid this planet in service to others, have provided what you would call technical information. The technology provided by this group is in the form of various means of control or manipulation of others to serve the self.
Do you mean then that some scientists receive technical information, shall we say telepathically, that comes out then as usable gadgetry?
I am Ra. That is correct. However, very positively, as you would call this distortion, oriented. So-called scientists have received information intended to unlock peaceful means of progress, which redounded unto the last echoes of potential destruction, due to further reception of other scientists of a negative orientation distortion.
Is this how we learned of nuclear energy? Was it mixed, both positive and negative orientation?
I am Ra. This is correct. The entities responsible for the gathering of the scientists were of a mixed orientation. the scientists were overwhelmingly positive in their orientation. The scientists who followed their work were of mixed orientation, including one extremely negative entity, as you would term it.
Is this extremely negative entity still incarnate on Earth?
I am Ra. This is correct.
Then I assume you can't name him, and would ask you where Nikola Tesla got his information.
I am Ra, the one known as Nikola, received information from Confederation sources desirous of aiding this extremely, shall we say, angelically positive entity in bettering the existence of its fellow mind, body, spirit complexes. It is unfortunate, shall we say, that like many wanderers, the vibratory distortions of third density illusion caused this entity to become extremely distorted in its perceptions of its fellow mind, body, spirit complexes, so that its mission was hindered, and in the result perverted from its purposes.
How was Tesla's work supposed to benefit man on Earth, and what were its purposes?
I am Ra. The most desired purpose of the mind, body, spirit complex, Nikola, was the freeing of all planetary entities from darkness. Thus, it attempted to give to the planet the infinite energy of the planetary sphere for use in lighting and power.
By freeing the planetary entities from darkness, precisely what do you mean?
I am Ra.
Would this freeing from darkness be commensurate with the law of one, or does this have any real product?
I am Ra. The product of such a freeing would create two experiences. Firstly, the experience of no need to find the necessary emolument for payment in your money for energy. Secondly, the leisure afforded thereby, exemplifying the possibility and enhancing the probability of the freedom to then search the self for the beginning of seeking the law of one. Few there are working physically from a daybreak to darkness, as you name them, upon your plane, who can contemplate the law of one in a conscious fashion.
What about the Industrial Revolution in general? Was this planned in any way?
I am Ra. This will be the final question of this session. That is correct. Wanderers incarnated in several waves, as you may call them, in order to bring into existence the gradual freeing from the demands of the diurnal cycles and lack of freedom of leisure.
That was the last question, so as usual, ask if there's anything we can do to make the instrument.
I am Ra. You are doing well. The most important thing is to carefully align the symbols. The adjustment made this particular time-space present will aid this instrument's physical complex in the distortion towards comfort. May we ask if you have any short questions which we may resolve before closing the session.
I don't know if this is a short question or not, so we can save it till next time, but my only question is why the Crusaders from Orion? Why they do this? What is their ultimate objective? This is probably too long to answer.
I am Ra. This is not too long to answer. To serve the self is to serve all. The service of the self, when seen in this perspective, requires an ever-expanding use of the energies of others for manipulation to the benefit of the self, with distortion towards power. If there are further queries to more fully explicate this subject, we shall be with you again.
I think I forgot. Is it possible to do another session like today?
I am Ra. It is well. I am Ra. I leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator. Adonai.
All right. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.